And we are live. Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you. Hello, hello. Hello, Alex. How are you?
Hello, everyone. Pretty good, and you?
Good. Pretty well with the sun at Paris. So it changed a bit. So I'm okay.
Yes.
What about you? You good?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. Very nice to meet you again for our Pipeline Fever webinar. And welcome, everyone. Guess can wait a little bit.
Yeah,
Let
exactly. We can wait
everyone
like
is there.
for 1 or 2 minutes just for the people to come. For the one that who don't know, who doesn't know who BLC are and who is Alex and myself, and for this webinar. So Alex and myself are working for BLC. We are a Pipedrive partner and integrator, Pipedrive for all the companies all around the world for just like we are doing everything for Pipedrive. So basically training, support, automation, integration, data import, personalization with Pipedrive or even though with other system like Pandadoc that we are doing today, or even though with Make or Zapier or APIs. So basically, welcome everyone to this webinar that we are doing every 2 weeks in English and the other week is in French. For the webinar on Livestorm, you have on the bottom of your page, on top, on the bottom left, right, sorry, you have the question mark, you have the chat, where you can just say a small hello to everyone, and you have as well the question mark to ask some question regarding the webinar that we will have with Alex today. So we can start. So today with me, I have the pleasure to introduce Alex, Pipedrive expert at BLC. So Alex will demonstrate how to integrate Pipedrive with Pandadoc. He's using Pipedrive every day. He's a master in Pipedrive. So do not hesitate if you have any question regarding Pipedrive and the Pandadoc integration, and myself as well, Pipedrive expert. Maybe a bit better than Alex, maybe not. Who knows? But
Uh,
we
we
will
always see
see.
those jokes, right? Exactly. Thanks
Uh,
for the introduction. So yeah, any question, it doesn't need to be Pandadoc. Okay, today we demonstrated Pandadoc. But what we're going to do is we're going to go into kind of like a freestyle today, where there are some new features even in Pandadoc, and we're going to try to kind of accommodate few things that we see in there that it might be nice to use. Also to kind of how to create a template, maybe how to create a document straight using the template, and of course creating the connection with Pipedrive. So I'm not much of uh, a person that shows much of uh, slides. I like to sort of go and kind of demonstrate and then go straight in the tools. So we have here our Pandadoc platform. Okay, so we're gonna see on this side here all kind of like the homepage where we can find sort of information, how the documents are, how many we have on draft, how many we have like in waiting and then finalized and approved and so on. So that's kind of our dashboard homepage. We have then the documents. So you list here all the documents, and in here the nice thing that we can also do is we can also filter, by imported, archived, and so on, all documents. We go in the next session where we have our templates. Here we can see that we have one template in there already that we use. Maybe we can have several, right? We can be doing quotes. We can be doing like, final documents. We can be doing a presentation. So it's a bunch of types of documents that we can do in Pandadocs. And then we can also have the template here. We can be signing NDAs, for example, like before engaging with the client, we might have an NDA to sign. We create it in here, send it, and if you want to agree, and then we can keep going on. Also, a list of contacts. So a list of contacts, if we have an integration, we're going to see a little bit later on, is once the contact is in Pipedrive and we say, okay, who is our client or the person who's going to sign, is going to create for us in here. There are other ways that you can also do contacts. You can be via an API integration using Make, for example. We can also do that. Every time that I have a contact in Pipedrive, that let's say I win a deal, I can also push there to create the contact even before sending a document to sign. So those are some of the things that we can see in the documents. And then, of course, after we have a bunch of stuff. So forms, now Pandadoc is also doing forms. We can kind of create forms and then on answers sign. There are this notary. This is the one that, like, for a long time, I haven't seen, also I haven't used it, to be honest, the notary feature. So it can be something that eventually we can try to kind of do another webinar really focused on notary. Catalog, that can be our product catalogs. It can be, where we're gonna have the products already, but I can also have this product in our Pipedrive account. So I don't need to have the products in here. I can pick the product directly from my Pipedrive account. We're gonna see that in a second. Another thing that is really nice in Pandadoc is also the automations. We can create automations here, trigger, and then send it that it could be even a webhook, it can be another tool. So something really nice. And then you're going to see here your workflows, how we create templates of workflow. Okay, when the person signs, do this, this, and that. If the person doesn't sign after, like, certain time, then do something else. So really nice. We can see that the platform is really pushing. It's like, for me, is a platform that I really enjoy working with. API capabilities is really great. Okay, of course, reports. Then now they have this dev center here, is where I can even create webhooks. So I could create a webhook where something happens in here. I'll send the information over. I'll treat the data, and I do all the steps. Okay, so that's a little bit of how the tool is. Then we're not going to really talk much about Pipedrive today, but what we're going to do in here is we're going to go into our settings, and we're going to go into kind of our integrations. In the integrations page, bunch of stuff that that we can integrate with. We are really interested today in Pipedrive integration. There are other settings in here in terms of in terms of the account, in terms of other things, who is the team, the workspace, and so on, that you guys can have a look. But for us, we really interested in our integration. So two ways to integrate with Pipedrive. You can be from here. So if I go Pipedrive, I can go and click connect, okay? Or I can also go in Pipedrive, and then in Pipedrive, we're gonna search for the marketplace. Marketplace, you'll be under tools and apps, and then under here we have installed apps. So on this toolbar, and then we can see the tools that we have, and we can also kind of explore the marketplace, where I could go then, and search Pandadoc. We can see right there already, and then I would say, okay, I wanted to connect Pandadoc. So those are the two ways that either from here, either from the other account. Once I authorize, now I'm gonna have authentication page. Is that the company that you wanted to authenticate with Pandadoc? Is that for your user, or is that for for the whole organization, or is for specific users also? If I say specific users, it's gonna tell me out of my list of users in here, who am I authenticating also. It can be me, Gregory, Luca, Sylvain, or whatever, or I can say for everyone. If I say everyone, I can also tell the users, look, I'm notifying them we are authenticating the account. Go and then validate on your site. Okay. In this case, I'm just not gonna send. I'm just gonna next, allow and install, and now we are basically connected. Okay. So here there are a little few introduction, a kind of onboarding from Pandadoc. Okay, which shows us the basics of how the integration and that works. Okay, so going now into sort of, if I go in a deal, again, my Adrian got prod here. we will see now this sidebar panel that is going to create. Okay, so in here we have deals, we have persons, so our traditional panels. Okay, and now we have Pandadoc. Sometimes if you already had the integration, it could be that in your managed sidebar that it could be kind of deactivated. Just pay attention, okay? That if it doesn't show its array, it might be because it's just hidden in there. Now we can see that sometimes this happens, okay? And you see is not there anymore. So sometimes what we have to sort of also do in the tools and apps, we have to then kind of sometimes uninstall and then install again. I don't really know the reasons, but I've noticed that like sometimes it just doesn't go back, even if I have the integration. It might be something linked to Pipedrive. X4, we're just going to reconnect it, authorize, and then we're going to see that that is going to automatically populate for me. Not sending. Next, allow install, and here we go. Days again, onboarding, and then let's go in the view again. And we see right there. Okay, so sometimes going in the sidebar, deactivating, activating, for some reason it doesn't refresh, or somehow maybe the connection is lost. But now we have our document here. Two ways to then let's say that we wanted to map data, right? This is kind of something that we really wanted to avoid doing, is copying what we have in Pipedrive and then going the document and pasting and okay, what is my deal title and what is the name of my contact and so on. So one way to access the variables that we call it, okay, from Pipedrive is going into our Pandadoc little block, and then we go in this icon, and then we go into variables. It's going to open another page where it's going to list all the variables possible to map. So your custom fields, your default fields in Pipedrive, from deals, organization, and person, okay? So I could then eventually in my document say that, yeah, I wanted to, let's say I search here for title, okay, my deal title, as we can see in here, the variable name, for example, for that one, it was called CutProd Adrian. So then you would pick there as the title on my document, and so on. So here, all the variables that I have. The other way to access the variables, okay, it will be in Pandadoc. So in Pandadoc, when if we go documents, let's just open this CGP in here. We can also see that I would have the variables now. So this is already a document, so and I was already creating, so it might not be the best way to visualize, but I will show you just in a second. What we're going to do just before is, let's say that I'm creating my templates. I'm creating that kind of like, linking my data and mapping everything. So you could go and then pick a template from Pandadoc, which they have many. So library content is going to open here many. So I'll create one, or where are my templates, documents, plus a template. And then in here, it could be one of those that Pandadoc already gives to us as an example. And then we could go there and modify. Some that already have nice images and so on. You could even use some of those tools. Let's say I want to use my Google Drive, where I already have a document, and then I just upload OneDrive and so on. And even with Canva, so let's say I have a nice presentation in Canva, and then I could kind of like just export it and then import in here. I have one that that we just did a little test earlier before. I think is my it might be this one. If we change the titles into English and so on. Make editable, yes. I wanted to edit that template. And now we are on the template editor, right? So here is the name of my template. and then the options. So we can see that in this template, it came with kind of some lines. It came with this kind of description, quantity, and so on, which was the one we used for Pipedrive document. But I don't want any of those. So in here, for example, I could say, no, I don't want that because I wanted to bring my table of contents directly from Pipedrive in here, and I'm not using that one. But I could say that, yeah, in here, I could put some, like, I could even link a video. I think you did an example, right, Luca, where we create, let's say, explanation video that I could record. I could then kind of create on my template, like, no, hey, this is how we describe our quote and so on. So it could be a kind of an introduction video that we have as soon as the person opens the document, he could watch the video and it would explain everything. So you could add other things. So, you could add any things that you have on your blocks here on the right. So that's kind of your table of contents. Could add text. So adding a text in there, hello, new quote, whatever the text that you're going to put. So those are some of the table contents. And then for me, what it's really is interesting in this document, for example, is my, I wanted to have my pricing table, which is my pricing table from Pipedrive, right? I'm creating a quote. Once that quote is done in Pipedrive, when I add my products and so on, I wanted to generate that document using this template. So I can place it in there. And then we see that in here, we have the table. Sure, we can also modify, make it better, change the names, but we can see that in this table, we're going to pull the data from Pipedrive, okay? We're going to remove this row because otherwise it's going to create an extra row because it's not part of the Pipedrive product list. So in here I have the name of the product, which is going to pick from Pipedrive, the price, quantity, and the subtotal. I sure can also add, if I click here, add an extra column because let's say I have a tax amount in Pipedrive. So I could say, okay, insert a column to my right, and then which type of column that's going to be. I could say, okay, is the tax, it might be the discount, it might be in some other things we have SKU and cost, which could be added as a hidden thing. So I could add in here the cost, we're gonna add the tax, and in here I could add a row or hide a row, and then you would also say the cost and so on. So in this case, I just wanted the tax in there, and I wanted this tax, for example, the format, I want not currency, but I want the percentage, how much is that product in terms of tax. I see that I have my terms and conditions. My terms and conditions, for example, I don't want it to be right in here in the first page. I can then create on this little plus, I can add, for example, a page breaker. So it's always going to be after my table of contents, then comes my terms and conditions, right? So this is kind of just a basic template. You can become very creative and add things. What is really interesting here is, how we treat those things in here. Then, I could say quote number in here. Then I would pick the variables now. So one way of accessing, remember, it was from here. I could go there and search value. So ID. So ID of what, so I wanted to make sure that, for example, it be my DUID. So I could copy here and then paste it in there. Okay, we see that it kind of becomes yellow, and then it's going to link to my DUID, which is in this case would be my DU 117. So if someone didn't see the 117, if someone doesn't know where the DUID is in the URL. Okay, so right there, 117. So DUID, we go back to our template, and then I could also say other things, get all the variables and populate my template automatically with the data. So that's where we save time. We make sure that the data is right because we're not going to be copying and pasting, making mistakes. Same again for the organization name or contact name. I could use then the Pipedrive integration in here. Rather than picking from the table on their side, I could go here and see view related variables that I have with my CRM, and then it's in there. So Pipedrive, I have DYD, I have a bunch of stuff. Technically, all the custom fields and the default fields, as I said. But I'm not interested in the deal at the moment. I'm interested in the client. So for example, in here, I could say company, it would be my, and you can even search in here, right? Company, or maybe organization. I have the organization, and I could also have, I wanted to have the organization as it is. Just for example, let's, the organization, copy there, and then now we paste it in here, right? And it'll be the same for my, and the person, let's see, the contact person. Copy, paste, address the same, let's just not make it long. So it could be the same. Could just keep populating, keep like linking things that I have. Okay, I have stuff in there, and then same colors. I could change colors here. I could, add, let's say, a background in Canva, and then have a nice background as my white page in there. We could do anything, as we could see before in some templates, really colorful and so on. I could then now use this template straight away because I'm kind of mapping. In here, it could be the name of the template. So webinar, Pandadoc, let's say V1 for quotes, could be my NDAs and so on. Where is going to be saved, so it's under all templates. Okay, there's a little folder in there. And basically in here, I want to just to leave like that. Okay, so if now I go back to my home, I have my templates right there. We can see in there the V1, it's the one that I created. Okay, I could create folders in here and then say, okay, all my quotes will be under there. If I go there up, I create. So quotes, create there. We're gonna see now, and then go back to templates, and I can kind of like put the V1 inside the quotes. So now I can have all my templates for quotes in here, all my NDAs in a different area, for example. So going back to Pipedrive, what now we can do is, let's just a quick test here. Because before I had an error. So I just wanted to check now. So my contact, and then I'm going to add product. So let's say I have an audit, whatever title, blue here. Percentage, I just want to also go and check this product just to see what is the percentage that I have in this product, just to see if it's going to link correctly. So in here, I have a 0 tax. Let's just add, let's say, 10% GST. Or tax, or I don't know which country you're watching from, the tax name might be different. And let's go in this one now. Okay, so that's the blue, and let's use another one, the audit orange, for example. Let's go quickly in the product as well, just to see what is the percentage. Also 0, let's just, this one here, also 10%. Close, and then go back to our deal. And so we have one orange, let's say 100 and 500, and let's save. So I have my two products. I also set in here in the products as no tax. So we could also then, let's say, tax inclusive in the amount, just to see how it's going to reflect on the other side. Because we can see that displays in Pipedrive, that's something that, we have the total amount, which is with text, and it becomes 1600, but we see in the back that we have another value, just as parentheses is to deal with this variable here, okay? Now, when we're going to go in, we're going to create our document. In there, the app tells me, okay, do you want to create from scratch? Do you want to create from a template already? Okay, so share templates or my templates, whatever. I could go in quotes and then, okay, I wanted to get this one here. Now is the interesting factor that I said before for the contacts, right? Where I am adding a client here, which in this case is Adrian. So that's what's really nice. It maps automatically that. Okay, if I put Adrian here, that's going to be my person to sign. Okay. You start editing, and then is where Pandadoc is going to go and pull the data from Pipedrive. So so I reached out. Okay, this is my okay. So yeah, so this is the mapping that I said. Like I think I picked wrongly before, but we can see that our quote ID or quote number, because I wanted to say on this document my quote number is quote, and I could even add more things, quote ID and something else. It really read from in here, so it read really well 117. Okay. So back in our document, this is just a matter of picking the right variable, and then we would see the same. Then now we can see our product. So why it picked as 0%, I'm not really sure yet. Maybe it's because I already had the product in here as 0. So what we're going to do is, if we refresh here, we're going to already see the document linked in here as a draft. Okay, we can see the a draft document. But for example, that's not correct because it's 0 text, and I wanted to have, let's say, a 10% text, which is my product catalog. Okay, we're just gonna close there. I'm gonna leave. In my browser, sometimes it doesn't really leave, but I'm gonna just remove those products because they are already linked with the 0 text that I had before, and this one here the same. Okay, save. Let's just start again. Quick refresh in my page. Adding the products, again, we had the audit blue and 100, and let's add the audit orange. Here we go. Let's just take 10 out just to make it a little more. So 2000, and now we're gonna go and create another document. Okay. Again, where I wanted to create from, I could create from there, but I already have my Pandadoc V1, so it would list already here the most recent ones. Again, mapping because it's my contact. And now our table content should have the 10% from my product. Okay, that it is. So always keep in mind, if you are already, like in that case, it's because I knew that the product, it was already in my deal, and it had 0, and I modified that later. Okay, you will have to then to update your Pipedrive products again to be able to fetch the information over here. Okay, but we can see then I create that break line in here. It goes in the next page and so on. And then if I go and I send that and review and send, because it misses information here, I could tell then the system, what is the due organization? I could say cut prod, okay? Because it could be even a variable that I don't have it in Pipedrive, okay? Let's say not the organization name, but it could be another variable. So I could pre-fill that in here. Adrian, due ID is already there. Okay, next, and now we're going to see that it's going to populate those two fields that were technically wrongly mapped, but it would populate automatically. So company cut prod, contact Adrian. So that's the user, so Alex. and then I'm CCing Adrian. I could put like a message here and then send. At the moment that I'm going to send, we're going to see that just before that, if we go in Pipedrive and we refresh this, we see two documents here now. So number 1 and number 2. Okay, so 1,200, which is the latest one, and that 1,600, which was the one from before. Going back in here, when I send that, what is also nice is even if we have more documents with a contact, and if I go back to document, now we see the status, right? Okay, that's been sent, that's still on draft and so on. But also in Pipedrive is really nice because it changes and I can see directly in there how is the document status. Something that's really nice is, which is in the automation and so on, is based on that status, I could create other automations with Pipedrive. Status send, okay, create a follow-up for my rep or for my commercial guy here in Pipedrive to follow up with a document because I'm able to get the information on the API, so which is really good from Pandadoc. But we see those two different documents here. If then I go and assign, I'll go quickly up on the other page. Quickly just go and sign that just for us to see how it happens. Open document. This is I'm on my personal email where I'm signing this, and the reason why is just for us to quickly see here how got it. Something that we completely forgot to do, and no one, I think, we realized we didn't put like that document to be signed, right? So we create the template and we start to talk about everything, but we forgot something that is very crucial. Like we wanted the digital signature to so the person on the other side, he receives and says, oh, you need to sign, because so far it's just an email that I sent. And I think if I update this now, because I opened the document, we might see something saying like viewed, okay, which is also really nice. And this is something that, again, we can pick it up on the API and update the due owner here. Oh, the client code prod, he viewed the document. It can be something that I proactively straight away send a message. Hey, anything that is missing on the document, or do you need any help? So you have already a lot more chances to close the deal because you can follow up straight away on each status from your documents in here. Okay. Anyway, going back then, because we didn't put to sign, which is got distracted, right? I think it was because Luca was, looking funny in the webinar. We now templates. My templates, quotes, and here I need to set then the area for, it can be right at the bottom. So up in here, rows, client example, and so this is where I don't want to set any order. Example Alex, add, and then here in here it could be so if you go back, and here is our client, and here it could be, so this one I wanted to change the name. Actually, this one is, it can be manager. So, or it can be the due owner. So that person also needs to sign, okay? So I had a row, so the manager and the client, and then these ones I wanted to insert here, my content. Content, this signature over there. So this one here is going to sign in here. And who is this one? So we can assign, is that the manager? Yes, because he also needs to sign. And then I can also say in here another one. And then this one here is the client. Okay, so now if I'll send that, the manager can create a role and it's going to be the Pipedrive owner. And then the client, obviously, it is the client. So now, if I use the template or if I close that now, we see the close, and then let's go back to our home. And if you go, let's go in a different view now, just to is the one that I have Luca as my email address. This is one, right? Let's create a view for Luca here. A view. Pandadoc. Save. And then let's just put some products. And let's save. Now I wanted to create the document. If you want. Now I have the two. So who is manager? The manager is me, so Alex. Okay, I need to sign that as well. And who is the client? In this case, Luca. Okay, starting up. It's going to create again our table. It's going to create our document. But the interesting thing is that we see now is when we send for review. I'm going to go fast on that one. And if you guys also have questions, I don't know if I'm not really looking into the discussion in Pandadoc. Let's just, I don't want to put anything for the moment, for example. I can remove the placeholder. That's kind of also something interesting, which I might have, let's say in a presentation, I wanted to automatically populate some data from my drive, right? But because it's a presentation and I might not have, let's say, for your budget, and let's say the budget is my variable, I don't have it yet, I could just say, remove if it's blank, or you can also keep as a placeholder. So I could keep it, or I could remove. In this case, I wanted to remove, and then we see that then those two placeholders will be out. So document name, again, this document name, I could also automatically populate if I want to. I could say here, due Pipedrive, okay, as an example, my message if I wanted to, and then here go and send. Up, voila. Again, in here, if I refresh, now I'll have the document already as a sent document, not as a draft. Okay, and look, I guess if you could just quickly just go in and sign that. We will see in. I'm going to receive mine to confirm for signature as well. And here we go. This is kind of on my side. But anyway, we will see that if it's open and if it's signed from one or from both contacts. Okay. So far, Luca hasn't acted on it. In my side, I haven't received yet. So,
I received something just now. Up.
okay, maybe.
Alex Tuber sent you Pandadoc deal Pipedrive.
So my side, not quite yet.
So up, I can open it. Hello, new code. It's a bit expensive, Alexa.
Special price. Come on, Luca.
I'm gonna ask for a discount, maybe.
Anyway, so once that's a good question, Luca. Asking for discounts, okay? Because you might see that, and it is something I can see that you view that. This is something that can be, from a commercial perspective, very interesting. I might send that, and I see that you view that. Maybe if you view and you wanted to sign, and if you already had an agreement or some sort of agreement, okay, you would sign, right? If it's something that we didn't have an agreement and I send it to you and I see that it takes a little bit of time for you to sign, it's weird. Then you would trigger me, so hey, maybe the client is not fully ready to sign, or you want to kind of like to negotiate, and then it should be where I kind of then go into action, saying like, hey, see that you've just getting back to you in the document, or on the proposal, where are you at, and is anything that you want to discuss further. So it keeps the lead warm. You don't want it to kind of ghost the person out, and so that's very interesting to do with those status. And this can be something that you can put to yourself, like okay, I send a quote, and I'm just going to now create a follow-up in Pipedrive, a follow-up for my quote, whatever. And as I said before, it can, with the API and so on, it can be automated. That okay, but it's in the viewed. And I guess if you have you signed that one, or just to let's have a look, because I have no idea what the client is doing on their side, right? So it's still view. If I go and I open mine,
I signed my document. Huh? I did.
so on my side, for example, I can also start. If I go start and I add the signature, something that I didn't show, but we're going to see in the document. I'm about to sign the document. In the settings of the document, okay, in here, in Pandadoc. So if we go back to Pandadoc and we go in the settings, okay, the user, Alex, I can already pre-fill some signature, kind of this mock-up signature that I did, okay? It's my signature and it's already there. So when I receive kind of documents like that and I need to sign, the good thing is that you already identify my signature because it's coming from here. So we're going to see when I finish, and we go back in our document, and if I go on that one now, and we can see now the status is completed. And if you go Pipedrive, we're also going to see that status to a completed status. And there it is. Something really nice from here is I can download straight away from the app. Okay, download it in there. It would give me the document signed from both sides, Luke and I. And what is really nice is that he uploads that already in the view in there. So opening this in here, 1100, and our T's and C, and we can see the signature is also right there, okay, which is really nice because it populates from here directly. Okay, so you create a signature and that's already there for you. Every time that a manager or someone needs to sign, it will automatically give you the option during the signature to pick this one here, and we can see in the document right there. Okay, so this is some of the key features that we have in here. Do we have any questions so far? Is anyone kind of I know they look at you kind of
so far so good, Alex. No
perfect.
question for now, so you can proceed.
Okay, so another thing that we can do in here is what we can try to do is let's have a look at this automation. So in the automation session, we could even say that, let's say that I wanted to also to inform my my due owner in Pipedrive. So we're just going to try to kind of do something here, which is going to be document. Can you see anyone that we could use here? Look at that here, Pipedrive. Change the updated your product. change the status in Pipedrive when that's the one. Okay, so I wanted to make sure that my deal, when the person signs, it changed the status, or it could also be in here is the status change. Technically, would like maybe just to have an update on the deal, maybe moving to another stage, but it could be okay when the document is completed. Okay, or let's say decline also, because when it's declined, I lose the deal. Client doesn't want it to go ahead. Pick the template, so I can select is from my quote template. So in here is gonna open is from that one. Okay, template is that one. What do we do with the deal? So connect account. So it should be already, but it's just gonna verify that it's my BLC account. Okay, it's gonna ask me for my API key, I think. Show. I think it might be that one. I'll kind of go on my Pipedrive up quickly. I'll leave that one. Sorry. Just go back to my original. In here. Just copy my API. Sorry, got disconnected. Validate. Let's close this one here, and let's close this one here as well. And then I'm just going to move this page just for 1 second on this side, so I can then know that. Let's move it here so I can paste my API. Oh, it's becoming a mess now. API. Interesting enough, it's not that one. Don't know why it didn't. Pandadoc. This is what is nice about the live webinars is we get caught on little things like that. Automations. We were creating one. From Pipedrive, due status change. Choose my own. How can I hide this? So let me just stop the sharing for 1 second. It's not sharing, right, Luca? It's not sharing anymore, right?
No, you don't.
Let me just. It's a good thing that it keeps private. So here, let's just reshare this. Share entire. Okay. It's a good thing that it also hide left in here, so for you guys to see, it hide the connection success. Close then, and then what do I want to do with that deal? So one, again, when it's completed, I'll select the template, right? Webinar, save automation. we're really gonna do that live. So we're gonna go Pipedrive. We're gonna log in. And you ready, Luca? You ready to buy
I'm
again?
ready.
Yes. Uh, let's create nice view, automation, Pandadoc, and let's save. Again, we need to get our product in there. Here we go. Document. One. Start. Just wanted to go back because I wanted to. Well, we can see that as I didn't set the manager and the client, it will give me this info to choose again at the end. Here you go. So add the recipient, and then it's Luca, and manager recipient. Signature 1 is Luca. Signature 2, I can, for example, delete this field here. I don't want it to have. It's going to be only one. Done. So we only have the client now. Sunday probability first week. Yes. In here, you'll see. Sorry. Here is where we could also populate those automatically as we did before. And next. Send. Okay. What we want is to make sure that this deal once is signed. Okay. So it's on your side, Luca, now. I have already my activities here, my follow-ups, and contacting Luca, making sure he signs the deal. And we see, so send. I guess it's going to take the little moment to send. But we wanted to also have a look in here in my automations on that page what we have active. So we can see that we have one active in there. I can also pause, or I can also deactivate in there. We're going to keep active just to see what happens. But we can see that in the automations page, we have many other options to do as well. So with Pipedrive, with other tools as well, like even with payment tools as well. So once get payment, then they change the status of something else. So really, really nice. So in here, bunch of them. Let's see. With SharePoint, it's a great use case for, once something is signed, move to something else. If it's not directly, as I said before, we can do many of those things also with the API. Okay. So if there's an integration here or an automation that's not default in Pandadoc, we can also use that with the API, and it's really great. Did you receive already?
Yes, I sign it. It's much expensive than.
Well, the first one was just an introduction, right? So now is the really good deal, right? So we can see the automation Pandadoc, even on my workflows, automation Pandadoc is there. Workflow templates, don't have any templates. And what is my lookup table is going to pick, I guess, if I would have, this is kind of new, don't really create a table to organize and manage. Okay. But if I go now on my Pipedrive one, it really worked. So it's great because we can see here one, and something that just I'm intrigued to know is nice. It really puts the status as one, and we can see that it was done via the API. So
that's nice.
is really
That's really
nice because we can see that, okay, who won the deal. You know, it wasn't the user, it wasn't the browser doing that. It was really the API managing all that, right? Something that I didn't update it yet is in here, but I guess if I do my
And
update,
you're receiving as well an email, Alex, on your mail inbox saying that, yeah,
yeah,
the
probably will
person
be,
started.
I mean, it's because it's not linked in here, but exactly.
Yeah, of course.
So
Yeah.
pretty nice. So, and then this is right there.
And from now that the deal has been signed and the deal is won, you can enable as well other or trigger other automation for the project, for the billing, for other system. With Pipedrive, my document has been signed automatically. I'm gonna even though send another document to the client because he needs to complete his identification form for the
Yeah,
billing, for example.
and this is where it's great is the form then, okay?
Yeah.
Sure, there is a price associated to that, but then, you know, you will be like, you know, something's done, okay, send the form to the client, you know?
Mm.
And let's say that we don't really want to use the forms from Pandadoc. Maybe let's say we have already a platform that we use some forms. We could then just use those ones. You know, sure, it's great to have everything in one. It's much easier to manage, and you know, easier to sort of like not be jumping from one platform to another. But it's totally possible. It's totally possible not to use the forms from here. Use the forms from any other tools that you guys have already, and then just integrate in the workflow. Because that little automation thing, really great. And also, what is nice is that it saves, let's say, the number of automations in Pipedrive. Let's say that you have a bunch of automations in Pipedrive. You kind of like, you know, creating there, okay, when my documents are marked as one, well, that one doesn't count on your Pipedrive number of automations, you know, because it's in here in Pandadoc. So really good, good feature, you know, that they have. Is there anything else that you want to sort of search around and have a look around? I think today we covered kind of a good topic, kind of, you know, creating the documents from a template, you
Uh,
know, importing your templates and
we have 3 minutes left, but we don't have any question. Alex, what could be the other type of documents that we can generate with Pandadocs linked to Pipedrive? We saw a quote, but I imagine that we are not. It's not mandatory to create quote. We can generate contract. We can generate other system. Is it possible, for example, for the person to complete a document? For example, on the contract, you ask to the client to put his name or a number of days or something, and he would sign after it.
yeah, so there would be more with the forms, okay, in here. There'll be more like, okay,
Okay.
now I have this, and then I'll send the form person will populate things that are kind of missing. Uh,
And it's gonna
and this is
populate my
also,
document. It's gonna
and then
populate my document.
and then you populate the document, yes. Um,
Really
but
cool.
this is something that, like, you know, I think we've done for a client not long ago. That we have the information in Pipedrive. We wanted to generate the final PDF for the client, but we wanted to make sure that the client answers some questions that I might not have in Pipedrive yet. So if I send the document, those informations will be missing. So something that we also did was we created in Pipedrive something that we generate a form link, we send to the client will populate those, and then we automatically populate Pipedrive before the generation of the document in here. So, and this can be fully automated. My deal, let's say, enters a stage. I need to send that to the client to fill out the information missing that I have, or all the questions that I have. I can pre-fill some of those informations, and then the client will send it back with everything. Then once I create a document, then I would have all my variables, all my fields properly integrated and properly filled out in here, for example. And it can be fields from the deal, as it can be fields from the person and the organization also. Okay, so that's another way to tackle the situation.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
it can be, going back to your question, what we can create presentations. It's a good one. Let's say I've done a demo, and then I wanted to send the kind of like mm, presentation after the demo about the product, about the what we are offering. So automatically will populate figures from my
Mm.
Pipedrive and data from here. It would go into kind of the presentation, and you send it. Uh, it can be kind of pricing table as well. Let's say like have some uh, pricing to show the client and offers. Uh, it can be a variety of things, to be honest. So
Okay, cool.
really good, and it's a really solid integration. That one with Pandadoc. It's been hanging here for ages already. Like
It's a long one. Yeah, it's a long
yeah,
one.
yeah, and it's nice. It's nice to see those status changing straight away in here, without me having to go on the other platform and see if the client sign or not.
Mm.
Uh, I can't reinforce more. Adding these other layers of triggering when the status change, it adds heaps of values to your commercial team to to engage with the deal at the right moments. Documents being filled. Okay, I give a couple of hours, I give a day or so, and I get in touch or straight away. Not to lose the momentum with the client. So really nice possibilities in here.
Okay, cool. Well, we don't have any question. We run out of time, so just thank you, Alex. Thank you so much for this webinar. Really interesting, and that's a really nice integration for our Pandadocs or to
Mhm.
generate documents with Pipedrive. It opens so
Lots
many
of
things
possibilities.
for
Exactly.
exactly
And we didn't
so
even touch some
flexible
of the
processes.
exactly, and we didn't even touch some of those kind of
Mm.
new features that they have, like kind of the smart forms and uh, you know the workflows, and also things that I was in here in the workflow, and then this lookup table, uh, which is
It
something
could
that
be
I haven't really done yet, but really nice things, and the automation is actually. I remember when back in the days people were asking, why don't we automate, and now it's right there, and it works, is solid. We see just putting the API, and then everything is in place, so really interesting.
exactly, and could be interesting to do another webinar with them with Pandadoc directly, because I know that
Exactly, yeah,
Gestion could be as well an option to present the feature
yeah.
that we really don't know about Pandadocs.
Yeah, and go a little bit deeper in all the little details that
Mm.
so absolutely.
So thank you, everyone. Thank you for all the for this presentation, Alex. And I think that we will see you in 2 weeks for another webinar. I don't have the name or the
You
subject
got a,
in my
got a
mind.
secret.
Oh, I have it. Okay, that's gonna be more
Yes, yes,
focused in
yes,
Pipedrive. That's gonna be more focused on Pipedrive, but still interesting. So
exactly.
thank you, Alex. Thank you, everyone, and have a great afternoon. Bye bye.
Yeah, bye bye.